Are you celebrating a pagan festival? If you're celebrating Christmas, you are celebrating a pagan festival and don't know it. Many are unaware of the pagan origins of Christmas. If you were never taught that Christmas comes from ancient traditions of pre-Christian winter festivals and solstice celebrations, how would you know? It is for this reason that I make this series. You will receive a brief introduction into the Christianization of pagan festivals. There is a word called syncretism. The meaning of this word is the blending of different, often contradictory beliefs, practices, or cultural elements into a new hybrid system. You will learn here that Christianity is an amalgamation of many beliefs going back thousands of years. These observations of fertility and renewal, rituals, winter solstice celebrations, and all the festivities that go with it are much, much older than Christianity. This should cause many to question the reason why this new religion would make it a practice to celebrate festivals dedicated to pagan gods and goddesses. Let's start with the birth of this supposed Savior, whose birthday it is we celebrate on December 25th. In the beginning of the life of the church, the Lord's birthday was celebrated on January 6th, which just so happens to be the same day as an Egyptian deity. As time went on, it was moved to December 25th because of a cult that existed in Rome prior to Christianity. This was the cult of Mithras. This cult existed prior to and alongside Christianity for many years until it was outlawed by the Emperor Theodosius in 381 Common Era. This cult of Mithras celebrated the birth of the god on December 25th. It so happened that the god Mithras also went by many names, such as Sol Invictus, Mithras, a variation of the old god that was simply Sol Invictus, or the unconquerable sun. Mithras being a variation of a Persian god called Mitra. This god had been around since around 1200 BCE. The Persian god Mitra has a lot in common with the god of the Greek pantheon by the name of Dionysus. Dionysus, born December 25th, was the god of the vine. He turned water into wine, known as the twice-born son of God. Sound familiar? Primarily, he is the god of vegetation and horticulture, the green man in Celtic circles. He is known as the suffering god, as well as the god of ecstasy. His cult had been around since at least 1400 BCE, and he was honored at his celebrations with the drinking of wine to represent his blood, and the eating of small wafers that represented the body of the god. Starting to ring a bell? One may ask the question, are there any others? And truly there are more. I will give you a list of the names of gods whose birthdays were celebrated on the same day as Jesus. Krishna, Horus, Zarathustra, Osiris, Atis, Sol Invictus, Adonis, Baldur, Quetzalcoatl, Tammuz, Freyr, Nimrod, just to name the easy ones. Most of the symbolism that we are familiar with concerning Christmas has been carried along through time from Rome to Western Europe. Many of those we are most familiar with are from the practices of the Norse and Germanic people. That icon of Christmas, the Christmas tree, hails from Germanic and Norse traditions and is a symbol of everlasting life, as well as the endurance of making it through the winter months. The Yule log, too, comes from these Europeans. The burning of the log was symbolic of a return of light to the world following all the days of darkness. For 12 days, the log was burned with a different type of celebration on each of those 12 days. Gift giving and merrymaking being at the center of those celebrations. The Celtic people had traditions that were unique to them as well. A lot of symbolism involving holly and ivy. The Celts believed that during the winter months, the Holly King ruled over the dark, cold land, bringing the people through the hard times, and then handing the baton over to the Oak King around December 25th. This symbolized the return of longer days and the coming of spring. Ivy, as well, symbolized the endurance and tenacity needed to get through the dark months. All of these festivals were marked by feast days and midwinter celebrations. If one were to ask, is Christmas pagan? There can only be one answer: yes. The pagan origins of Christmas are well documented and have existed far longer than the religion of Christianity. The well-known and documented Roman holiday of Saturnalia is but one example in the Roman world. This too was a celebration of life and fertility, with plenty of drinking and revelry taking place. The Roman god Bacchus being revered right alongside the god Saturn, this time as they were both symbols of rebirth. Bacchus is the Roman name for Dionysus. From this point on, you will be aware of the truth concerning the celebration of Christmas. The story has been told in such a way that it blends many customs from the lands that the Roman Empire introduced and then forced the people of that area to embrace Christianity upon threat of death. There was a reason why the early church adopted these dates along with the symbolism to represent Christianity, because it made the transition from pagan to Christian less of an obvious oppression. The symbolism of the old belief stayed the same. The sermons were in Latin, a language reserved for the well-educated. The literate population at the time was about 3% in the early days of the church. The well-educated would represent less than that, to be sure. We have a pagan celebration taking place in the same location as the pagan temple used to stand. The church leaders built most of the churches over the top of pagan worship sites. This is well known and not refuted by the church. The sermons were in Latin and not understood by the people. All the old symbolism being carried over into the new belief, syncretism they call it, remember? All of the same festivals and celebrations of pagans being celebrated by the new Christians. The pagans did not even know a change had been made until it was too late. With the children of pagans being told these symbols had ties to explain the attributes of Christ instead of Dionysus, Mithras, or Baldur. Christianity didn't replace paganism, it absorbed it.